Hello and welcome to What the Hey, where I'm your regular host of What the Hey, and today on What the Hey, I am once again answering yet another question. When I go to my notebook of knowledge, I see the question of, why the hey do people feel nostalgia? Now this question was asked by Mr. 2007, so hello to you and thank you very much for the question. Now, in terms of a very basic description, nostalgia is typically a fond memory or recollection of an experience. The actual word of nostalgia was coined by a Swiss physician who essentially described it as being the suffering evoked by the desire to return to one's place of origin. So I think by kind of that definition from that physician, they're basically saying it's kind of like being homesick. Nostalgia usually elicits happy and positive opinions of past experiences with things ranging from family, friends, TV shows, movies, toys, video games, food, smells. Some people, when dealing with and considering nostalgia, tend to compare their current emotional or physical state with a previous one. I think some people label it as the good old days. Which, depending on how old a person may be, their perception and kind of opinion of the good old days may be skewed. I grabbed a quote from The Office because I feel like it's very relevant, and it's from Andy Bernard, and he says, "I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them." Which kind of goes into my general opinion, because even though I'm not that old, I'm only 21, when I'm being nostalgic, I think of me when I'm super young, playing out in the woods, riding on a horse stick, and then a little bit later when I'd be watching Tobuscus Minecraft Let's Plays on a computer. Additionally, that kind of goes back to a point that I made previously about how, depending on how old you are and what you've experienced, you'll consider some things nostalgic, but not everything. I mean, as a random example, one of the things that I consider to be nostalgic is watching the old animated Disney Robin Hood movie, and some people now, younger than me, would consider watching the Frozen animated movie to be nostalgic. So it's just a little bit of a difference, but it's kind of the same thing. It's definitely normal to be nostalgic about stuff. My siblings and I will laugh about stuff we did when we were really young and super silly. And then there's times where I'll get together with previous high school classmates and we're remember when we were kind of stupid? Yes. For the most part, a lot of nostalgic things are looked back on fondly, that's kind of the whole point. Of course, you can be nostalgic about sad stuff, whether that's losing a family member or losing a pet or just something that's super sad that happened in your life, but nonetheless, it's a good reflection. Another personal example for me that I actually got to revisit kind of recently was I went with my sister and we went to our home state of Georgia and kind of did some activities that we did when we were younger. We drove to a state park and then we also went to a baseball game. Additionally, I think this was towards the end, we actually visited the house that we grew up in, and just seeing that stuff and kind of being in the same place that I was when I was younger was fun. So why do people feel nostalgia? I definitely feel it's just part of our memory that we like to keep with us and reflect on because it's nice. If any of you have any personal nostalgia or just general nostalgia that you like to think about, feel free to share. But that's essentially the answer to the question, so if you have any questions, let me know and I'll get to working on them as soon as I can. Additionally, I do have a Wix website where you can see what type of topics I'll be covering in the future, so feel free to check that out. But that's basically the video, so thank you very much for watching. Bye.